Thank you for inviting us into your kitchen.
Thanks for coming. My pleasure.
This is fantastic. And you're cooking sustainable seafood. How did you get involved in that?
Our company, Fairmont Hotels, has always been really an environmental leader, and we've always tried to make the food in our hotels authentically local. The sustainable thing is something we've always done. Sustainable seafood is really in the last 5 years is something that working with Oceanwise and organizations like that, we realized that what seafood we use plays a big role in the environmental impact.
So there's a big partnership between nonprofits and the chefs and the suppliers and the fishermen to push more sustainable seafood.
Yeah, and the consumer, because the consumer gets to choose, what they want to buy, and we find in most cases the consumer will choose the sustainable option. One of the great parts about the dining experience now is it's educational. People want to learn, where the food comes from and learn more about how it ended up in front of them. So the chefs are part of that process, telling the story of the way we write the menu and talking to guests, but also the servers and how they sell the product.
So a lot of the food that you're using here in this restaurant comes from what you have on the roof.
Yeah, we have a rooftop herb garden. We've had it here for almost 15 years. I mean, it's a small amount of the food we buy, but it's an important statement, I think, that on top of a 80-year-old building in downtown Toronto, we can grow our own food.
And what about Lake Ontario? I mean, this is a city that sits right on the edge of this beautiful lake, and yet there's really no industrial fishery there, and the water's quite polluted. No one wants to get their fish from there. How does that work for you? Because it would be nice if you could source some of your fish from local waters.
Because Lake Ontario is the last lake of the Great Lakes. All the terrible things that have been put into downstream sort of end up there, but it's a shame because we do get beautiful seafood out of the other lakes, very sustainable. It's too bad we didn't have that same kind of fishery in Lake Ontario. This is some of our seafood here. Diver scallops. These are beautiful large diver scallops from the East Coast.
Beautiful.
So these are, as you know, harvested by divers rather than dredging, which is a horrible thing to do to the bottom of the ocean, and then unfortunately it's done all over the world. I think the future of eating seafood is going to be aquaculture. We can't keep just taking wild fish from the ocean. So,
what do you look at when you are determining whether or not you want to source an aquaculture salmon or other seafood?
Really, we do the same thing that consumers should do. We ask questions. Where does it come from? What do you feed the salmon? Because you might be doing a great job with the salmon, but if you're harvesting anchovies from Chile and destroying that fishery so that you can feed salmon, then that doesn't really work. There's a lot of things that go on with food that people don't realize, how far it travels and what's done to it, and how fresh it is.
And how it impacts our water.
Exactly, yeah.